We are Black Force. We are Arizona.
Our Independence Day series continues. It's game 2 against the Cardinals. D-backs baseball brought to you by Sanderson Ford. We've got a promising pitching matchup tonight. The veteran ace, Zack Greinke, up against one of the league's most promising rookie pitchers in St. Louis's Jack Flaherty. Join us for the D-backs and the Cardinals on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. Zack Greinke, 3 wins on the last road trip, but back home tonight and hoping his June success, Bob, can carry over into July.
Well, I'll tell you, his pitching on the mound in the month of June has been about as consistent as you can possibly imagine. In those 6 starts, he's 5-1 with an ERA under 3, coming off back-to-back starts against Pittsburgh and Miami when he went a total of 13 innings, did not allow a run on 9 hits. He is rolling right now.
And remember that Miami game, he was getting base hits, stealing bases, scoring runs, doing everything. He's up against Jack Flaherty. Now, if you've not heard of Jack Flaherty, he's been a little bit under the radar, but he has put up some very impressive numbers as a rookie right-hander.
Yeah, the one-loss record at 3-3 won't knock your eyes out, but the ERA is under 3. In those 61 2/3 innings, he's punched out 73 hitters, walked only 18, and held the opposition to a .211 batting average.
This one should be a lot of fun to watch. D-backs baseball coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Tire Pros of Arizona, everything rotates around you. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Buick, visit your local Buick dealer. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing, choose Chaz. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Well, things are getting crowded in the National League West. The Rockies are winning again. Kershaw's on the mound in L.A. And the D-backs have lost 4 in a row. Time for Zack Greinke center stage next. Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. D-backs and the Cardinals brought to you by Sanderson Ford. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson along the way. Game 2 of this 3-game series against St. Louis. Zack Greinke gets the baseball for the Diamondbacks against this Cardinals bunch that begins the series or the game tonight. 3 games over 500. They won 6-3 last night. Here's their lineup. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
First baseman Matt Carpenter once again leading it off tonight. Tommy Pham will be out in center field. Jose Martinez in right field. Marcell Ozuna will be across the field in left. Yadier Molina doing the catching tonight. Jed Jerko at third base. Jairo Munoz at shortstop with Colton Wong at second base, and the right-hander Jack Flaherty on the mound.
Well, the D-backs back from an 8-2 road trip. Little flat here back home. They've lost 4 in a row, so this is the type of night to which you look for your veteran ace, the stopper, and it's your Ram truck starter, Zack Greinke. 8-5, a 3.41 ERA. He has won his last 3 starts and begins tonight with a 13-inning scoreless streak.
You know, sometimes it's hard to see Zack Greinke as a dominating pitcher because he doesn't throw 98 miles an hour. He doesn't have a snap dragon curveball or a split finger, but he just hits his spots more consistently than any pitcher in the National League.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
David Peralta will be in left field. A.J. Pollock once again out in center. John Jay, the former Cardinal, out in right field. It'll be Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. As usual, Jeff Mathis behind the plate for right-hander Zack Greinke.
And the crew chief behind the plate for the umpires, Bill Welke, calling the balls and strikes tonight. Tony Randazzo is the first base ump. Lance Barrett at second, and Andy Fletcher is at third. And before we get going, Bob, time for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, every staff has an ace, and the reason you have an ace, this is it. This is why you're here, Zack Greinke, to stop losing streaks and continue winning streaks. But tonight, you want to stop the losing streak, get this ship pointed in the right direction.
D-backs beginning play tonight, 1.5 games ahead of the Dodgers for the NL West lead. LA has Kershaw on the mound at Dodger Stadium tonight against the Pirates. 2.5 up on the Giants. Rockies are 5 back, and right now Colorado leads San Francisco 6-0. They're in the 5th at Coors Field. Matt Carpenter will lead it off for the Cardinals. 2:55 and 15 homers to lead St. Louis. And the Diamondbacks will put on the overshift on the right-hand side.
Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Arenado have already homered for the Rockies tonight.
You can never count them out, ever. Nova and Kershaw later tonight in LA. StatCast powered by AWS. You can see Carpenter pretty much will use the whole field, but they still overload the first base side.
Yeah, you see a lot hit to the shortstop area. Jake Lamb, the only defender there in that 20% area. But yeah, he's more up the middle of the field than dead pull. But Zach Greinke always has a game plan against an opposing hitter, and maybe he's going to throw pitches that Carpenter's more likely to pull on the ground.
A little flare that dunks into very shallow right center field, and Carpenter, who led off last night's ball game with a double, is aboard to start this one.
Center fielder, number 28.
That'll bring up Tommy Pham. 248, 13 home runs for Pham. He singled and walked twice last night. Cardinals jumped out early against Robbie Ray with a 4-run first.
Boy, those of us that played against the Whitey Herzog Cardinals back in the 80s would be amazed to see a Cardinals leadoff hitter with no stolen bases and no stolen base attempts.
How about that? Yeah, they don't really have. Pham leads them with 9 stolen bases. Those days of Vince Coleman and that type of ball are long gone, it seems. Changeup misses low, and Pham's ahead 2-0. Greinke lost at St. Louis in his second start this year, April 7th. Cardinals got him for 5 runs, 9 hits in 5 innings. Fastball at the knees, 2 balls and 1 strike. Zach wins on the last road trip at the Angels, the Pirates, and the Marlins. Pitching scoreless baseball in those last 2 starts in Pittsburgh and Miami. Misses in with a fastball, and Pham is ahead 3-1. The dangerous Jose Martinez on deck. He homered off Greinke in that start Zach made at Busch Stadium back in April. Hold on there, Tommy. Change up off the plate, but Bill Welke says strike 2, and it's full.
Mathis had to reach all the way across the plate. That pitch is a little bit off that outside corner, but they get the benefit of the doubt from the veteran umpire Bill Welke that time. Kind of odd that Jeff Mathis was set up down and in with a changeup. It's usually not the location you try to throw that off-speed pitch.
Slow curveball, ring him up and sit him down. That pitch has worked wonders for Greinke lately.
That's a knee knocker. Watch Tommy Pham's reaction. He didn't know whether to get out of the way, swing at it, or try to run down to first base and make Bill Welke believe that was ball 4.
We have seen that pitch an awful lot from Zach these last several starts. Martinez, 298 and 13 homers. He leads the Cardinals with 52 runs batted in. Flied out as a pinch hitter last night, his only at bat in that ball game. Mentioned Martinez homered against Zach Greinke in April when the D-backs were in St. Louis.
Well, it looks cold there that day.
The coldest game in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals organization.
Now, usually weather records are the other way when you go to St. Louis, especially midsummer, late summer, humidity and heat. Ooh.
We were lucky enough to catch that one. Still trying to thaw out. 0-2. Well, Martinez is a big guy up there at 6'6". And when he extends those arms, the ball can travel. He's homered in 3 of his last 8 games. And very good numbers in a small sample size against Zach in his career.
Martinez has been somewhat defensively challenged no matter where you put him on the field. They're trying him in the outfield now. They want to get his bat in that lineup somehow.
Another slow curve. The eephus is hung up deep to center for Pollock. Carpenter at first will decide not to tag up. Always good to have him back out there. Things just look better.
I mean, defensively, I feel like we had that position well covered.
Oh,
Gerard
absolutely.
Dice and Chris Owings all did a fantastic job out there in center field defensively, but there's no way to replace what AJ brings on the bases and at the plate.
See the gold label on that glove. It's there for a reason. Ozuna, 281, 10 homers. This is another guy that's had a lot of success in his career against Zach Greinke from his days in Miami. Another changeup away to the right-hander. Ozuna last night 0 for 4. He punched out twice.
Well, you can be sure the guys that have had a measure of success against Zach Greinke are not going to see the same pattern or the same sequence of pitches that they've seen in the past.
See those numbers, 6 for 14. Half of the hits home runs. Yeah, you can absolutely bet that Zach remembers what every pitch was that went out of the ballpark.
I mean, you still have to go out there and execute your pitches, but as I mentioned earlier, nobody in the National League has done that better than Zach Greinke in the month of June, pretty much all year.
Ball and a strike on Marcell Ozuna. Got the fastball by him. It's 1-2. Boy, we could really use a nice quick first inning here.
Yeah, seems like we've had a lot of 25 and 30 pitch first innings recently.
Be kind of refreshing. Robbie really pitched well after the first last night, but was in a 4-0 hole as soon as we got going. A lot of changeups so far from Zach Greinke. There's always one pitch that you see a lot of early, and it could be any one of the 4 or 5. Looks like tonight is the changeup first time through. Oh, he got the call on the slider. 2 strikeouts for Greinke. 4th of July week. D-backs coming up. Jack Flaherty, just 22 years old and looking like a Rookie of the Year candidate. A 2.92 ERA. He's put up some big strikeout numbers, good fastball, and a very impressive slider.
Yeah, coming off a rough outing against the Indians. He went only 4 innings, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits in that game. But his 3 previous starts against Milwaukee, the Cubs, and the Padres, he was absolutely dealing.
D-backs lineup tonight, presented by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Right fielder John Jay will lead it off, followed by Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Jake Lamb at third. A.J. Pollock out in center field. David Peralta will be in left. Ketel Marte getting the start at second base tonight. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for right-hander Zach Greinke, who thinks he should be hitting much higher in the lineup.
Makes a pretty good case. John Jay will lead things off, the former Cardinal. 286, couple of home runs. Flaherty is, as the scouts like to say, what they're supposed to look like. Big boy out there, 6'4", 205, and throws pretty hard. Strike just off the plate, 0-1. Jack Flaherty, 93 strikeouts through his first 17 career games, the most ever by a Cardinal. Think about that. Dizzy Dean and Bob Gibson and on down the list. Grounded to first. Carpenter's got it. A look at the St. Louis defense tonight, provided by E.D. Marshall Jr.
Tommy Pham out in center field, flanked by Jose Martinez in right. Marcell Ozuna in left. It'll be Jed Jerko and Jairo Munoz on the left side of the infield. Colton Wong and Matt Carpenter on the right side, with that guy Yadier Molina behind the plate again tonight for the right-hander Jack Flaherty.
Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie batting .274, 18 home runs, and coming off a 4-for-4 effort last night. Fastball misses away.
Well, every now and then you look through the opposing media guide and something jumps out. Well, for Jack Flaherty, his final 2 seasons at high school at Harvard Westlake in California, he went 23-0 with an .063 ERA. How do you think the scouts ever found him?
Beating the bushes.
Woo.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick by the Cardinals out of high school there in the 2014 draft. Selected 34th overall. He has flown up their minor league system.
I was talking to my staff. An .063 ERA his final 2 years of high school. I want to find the guys that got the hits to drive in the runs. That's who I want to draft.
Ahead of Goldie, 1-2. And 97. Flaherty this year averaging nearly 11 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched. Lamb on deck. You'll see a fastball that averages 93, a good hard sinker, and an exceptional slider that he throws a lot. That was it right there at 86. He can really spin it.
I was kind of joking about the guys that got the hits against Jack Flaherty his final 2 years of high school, but back in the day, I mean, nowadays we've got different ways to evaluate players and different ways to measure what they're doing out there on the field. But back in the day, many times scouts would go to watch a guy like Jack Flaherty and somebody on the other team would square him up twice.
Hey, who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
Well, he doubled up on the slider to Goldie, and he's got his first strikeout. Bill Welke may have signaled foul tip. In any case, it's a strikeout. Bases empty, 2 down. Here's Jake Lamb.
And a long way to go in this ball game, but initial indications are you might want to play for a run.
Well, this promises to be a very intriguing pitching matchup. 2 pretty good ones. Shift is on against Jake. Singled and had an RBI last night. Floats a slow curveball up there. Every once in a while, Flaherty will change the shape on his breaking ball like that. You'll see a lot of that hard slider, but just the occasional curveball to give things a different look. Fights off a fastball at 96, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he relies mostly on a 4-seam fastball slider combination, but he will sink his fastball. We've seen some cut fastballs. We've seen a little bit bigger slider. Has a changeup, but rarely uses that.
Seems like that's always the last pitch that comes around for the young pitchers. Lamb lays off a high fastball there. AJ on deck. 2 outs, 2-2 on Jake Lamb. Boy, sticking with that slider. He's throwing it a whole bunch so far.
You talked about Flaherty, and this is what a right-handed pitcher is supposed to look like. The Cardinals have a knack for getting guys that look an awful lot like the ace before them. Go back to Matt Morris and then Chris Carpenter, Michael Waka, and now Jack Flaherty, right out of the same mold, tall, long legs.
Yeah, they have a prototype they like, and for good reason. Can't get Lamb to chase that high heater, and Jake has worked it full 3-2. So he went 3-2 on Goldie, got him to chase a slider. And here it comes to Lamb. A little bloop to short center, and it drops in. And Flaherty once again leaning on that slider. Here's AJ. AJ 0 for 4 in his return last night after he missed 43 games with that avulsion fracture in his left thumb, suffered back in the middle of May. AJ will get a day off at one point here very soon, perhaps even tomorrow. He's been all over Torrey to come back and let him play, and they sort of negotiated his return, but Torrey's told him, look, I'm going to control your playing time and you don't get to complain about it. So when you do get the off day, I don't want to hear a peep, and Torrey's worked that way since he's been here. Guy comes off a rehab assignment. You don't immediately throw him into the lineup every day.
And even though that's been Torrey's MO since he's been here in Arizona, AJ doesn't care. He's still going to harp on Torrey to get in that lineup tomorrow.
But we'll see what tomorrow has in store. He's missed with a fastball, and it's 2-0 now.
I've heard it all before from players. You're trying to monitor their playing time, and they'll come into the ballpark and tell you, boy, did I get a good night's sleep last night, and did you see my last round of batting practice today? Man, I am so locked in right now. I need to be in the lineup, Skip.
Sit down, Gonzo.
Sit down.
There's that slider. 2 balls and 1 strike.
But that's exactly the attitude you want from your players. Even though in their heart of hearts they know they'll benefit from a little downtime coming off the disabled list. You want guys that want to play.
Well, plus you're probably so excited to come back and get back in there. A day off after 2 or 3 is probably a good idea, just to catch your breath. Fastball up and in. It's 2-2.
And a couple games off the disabled list will give you maybe a little better indication of where you're at in your comeback. I mean, AJ's not a finished product yet. He's back on the field and he's playing again, but we know that there's some timing and rhythm issues for every player coming off the disabled list. So, you know, maybe he can use tomorrow, if indeed it is an off day for him, to get in the batting cage and work on some things he thinks he needs to work on.
Doesn't bite that time.
So not really an off day anyway.
Exactly, as you like to always point out. So Flaherty, now over 20 pitches in the inning, has gone to a full count 3-2 on the last 3 batters. He struck out Goldie. Lamb blooped a slider into center for a base hit. Now it's full on Pollock. Lamb on the move. AJ takes a slider up that was in the zone, but Bill Welke says take your baseball 4. You always point that out on those high breaking calls. You don't get that call a lot.
Yeah, there are certain umpires that just refuse to call off-speed pitches up there at the top of the zone. That's fastball neighborhood up there, and if they see a breaking ball or a changeup that flutters up their letter high, a lot of umpires are just not going to call it.
Well, D-backs got a break there. Let's see if Peralta can capitalize. David hitting .283 with 15 homers. Lamb at second, Pollock at first, 2 outs. Slider misses low. David, a couple of hits last night. He tripled and had an RBI. Now Molina is going to pay a visit. Here comes Colton Wong from second. Flaherty laboring to get out of this first inning. Flaherty, as Bob mentioned, coming off a loss to Cleveland last Wednesday. Got knocked around a little bit. 4 runs, 6 hits. He lasted only 4 innings, but in his start previous to that, Flaherty was sensational. He struck out 13 Brewers at Miller Park and went 7 innings. It was the second time this year, in fact, he struck out 13 in a ball game.
Now Flaherty had that 3-start run that I mentioned, San Diego, the Cubs, and then the Brewers game that you mentioned. A total of 18 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 6 hits and 2 runs, both solo homers. Punched out 26 in 18 1/3.
No check swing. That one drops in. Here comes Lamb. D-backs grab a 1-0 lead. Single walk single, all with 2 outs.
David just fights that one off. He's looking over into foul territory in right field. Wasn't sure where the ball was off the bat. Little floater into shallow left field. Dunks in there. Diamondbacks on the board.
Boy, David, with runners in scoring position here at Chase Field this year, now hitting about .390 with a dozen RBIs. Chance for Ketel Marte to tack on another one. Back in the starting lineup. Good to see. .247 and 6 homers. And to leave that game Saturday against the Giants with that cramp in his right hamstring. We saw him get back into action last night. He had a base hit late in the ball game. On the ground to second. Right to Wong. D-backs strike first. They lead it 1-0.
Running down a number of injury updates. Great to see A.J. Pollock, of course, back, his second straight game back. Souza Jr., he did play last night in the outfield for Reno. No balls came his way for him to field, but he did hit a home run. And a couple of other updates, guys. He mentioned Alex Avila and that he's close to returning, saying his return is imminent. And then you've got Clay Buchholz, second straight day of throwing, no pain. So he talked about the fact there are extra players. Yes, we know we're going to have that when these guys come back. We're going to do our best to make sure that they all play. He said, we will sift through it when that time comes.
And Jody, I think they'd really like to have Alex back Friday to catch Zach Godley if they could. But that remains to be seen. Here's Yadier Molina, leads off the second against Zach Greinke, 272. And Molina now with a dozen homers. He drove in 3 of the Cardinals' 6 runs last night. Molina, a 2-run single and a solo home run, both off Robbie Ray.
He reached out over the plate to hook that one back to left field. That pitch was near the outside corner. Yadi got the barrel on it and rode it out of here.
That led off the 6th. Jerko followed. They went back to back, and that was it for Robbie last night.
Yeah, Yadi's wasn't really a surprise. It sounded like a home run off the bat, but Jed Jerko's was a fastball up and out over the plate. He hit it high in the air right down the right field line, and it just snuck over that bullpen fence.
Robbie suffered his first loss of the year, despite the fact that after that bumpy first inning, he retired 10 straight at one point, and 12 of 13. He had it rolling there for a while.
Yeah, they kind of ambushed him in that ball game last night. We talked about it during the telecast. Robbie's developed that reputation as the guy that will throw strikes, so they were attacking early in counts against him in that first inning.
I wonder if that's maybe, Bob, why we've seen so many changeups from Zach Greinke tonight. Maybe trying to counter that aggressive approach. Although he's very much a different pitcher than Robbie Ray. That one's punched foul. Zach in his previous start against the Marlins last week, almost surgical. 103 pitches, 73 strikes. Didn't walk a batter, and he struck out 6. Oh, Molina. Base hit to right. Second hit for St. Louis.
Look where this pitch is, off the plate away. Yadier just up there in that 2-strike approach, kind of rocking his weight onto his back leg, keeps that front foot down, and like a 2-handed backhand in tennis, just flips it out there to right field for a base hit.
As we mentioned last night in the 6th inning, to start off the inning, Molina and Jerko went back to back. Jerko had a pair of RBIs last night. Jerko, the former Padre, played his 31st game here at Chase Field last night, but that was the first time he'd ever homered in this ballpark.
Wow.
That one is fair by a diving Lamb and down the line. Molina's on the run. They'll stop him at third. Jerko doubles.
Well, you rarely see that when Zach Greinke's on the mound. A ball pulled right down the third baseline or right down the first baseline. He knows where his defenders are, and normally he executes pitches to get the hitter to hit the ball near his defenders. But that time Jerko found the third baseline for a double down into the corner.
Well, the D-backs with that run in the home half of the first time they've scored first during this homestand. Trying to continue playing downhill baseball, but Greinke second and third, nobody out. Here's Jairo Munoz, who had a pair of hits last night. He doubled and drove in a run. Munoz opened the season with the Cardinals, was sent to the minors in the middle of April. Spent about a month at AAA Memphis. And he's hit .310 since he came back up in the middle of May. That's hard hit. And into left. Molina scores, and we're tied at 1. 3 straight hits against Zach Greinke open up the Cardinals' second.
Change up. Mid thighs, mid plate that time, not where Zach wanted it, and Munoz makes him pay with a hard line drive into left field. Tying this one up.
Second baseman is Colton Wong. 188. He's got 6 home runs. 0 for 4 last night. This is blasted to center, right at Pollock. Jerko at third, and St. Louis takes a 2-1 lead.
What an odd inning. Good approach by Yadier Molina with 2 strikes, got him a base hit. Jed Jerko found that third baseline. Jairo Munoz picked on a hanging changeup, and now Colton Wong almost hit one over AJ's head out there in center field for a sac fly. That ball was hit hard.
First out of the inning for Greinke. Here's the pitcher Jack Flaherty now. Munoz still at first. Flaherty was scouted as a pretty good shortstop. They thought for a while even maybe he might be a position player, so he's a very good athlete. He's got a few hits this year. Lamb creeps in from third. That's ball 1.
Well, there were 6 pitches in that Yadier Molina at bat, and then 1 to Jed Jerko, 2 to Munoz, and 1 to Colton Wong. Getting back in that aggressive mode again.
Man, yeah. You can see Jake on the left side of your screen about halfway in from third. Goldie holding Munoz on the bag at first. Cardinals first time through the order already with 4 hits. Munoz takes off. Flaherty hits it out to right. Jay's got it. And there's the inning. But the Cardinals get 2. D-backs trail at 2-1. Pitch here today. Fans, Game of Thrones night is coming back to Chase Field. It's coming up Saturday. You can get a lower level game ticket and our exclusive Ice Dragon bobblehead for only $50 or the VIP pack for $65. But we are running out. Very limited quantities remain. So send your Ravens to dbacks.com BBBasketball.com/GOT. That is an exclusive item, BB. You can only get the Ice Dragon bobblehead right here at the ballpark Saturday.
Oh, and we had one up here in the booth. I think somebody with sticky fingers made away with it.
Happens.
It might have flown away, right? What are they called? Ice Dragons?
Well, there's one. There's 3 dragons. One is an ice dragon after what happened, north of the wall.
Yeah.
It flew off.
Sad story.
With the army of the dead.
Grateful Dead?
Truck in. That's all I could come up with. Nick Ahmed leads it off against Jack Flaherty. I think they're going to have, I could be wrong on this, but the Iron Throne usually makes its way around. Yeah, the Iron Throne will be here, so you can show up at the main entrance to the ballpark, and if you get the VIP pack and the bobblehead, you can have your picture taken sitting on the Iron Throne like you're the king of Westeros.
Or I could just go to your house and sit on your Iron Throne.
Well,
I know you have one.
I mean, I like the show and everything, but there's a limit.
Okay.
Or that slider. That's why it's been such an effective pitch for Flaherty. It's his second strikeout. Same pitch on which he struck out Goldie.
It's kind of a hybrid for me. It's like between a cutter and a slider. Doesn't have a lot of downward movement. At least the last couple he's thrown have been more lateral movement. But because he throws so hard and it comes right out of that same arm slot, he's fooling some of the D-backs hitters with that pitch.
Jeff Mathis. Jeff behind the plate tonight for Zach Greinke. Greinke on deck. Fastball up and a fastball down. It's a ball and a strike. Rockies now have an 8-0 lead over the Giants at Coors Field. They're in the 7th inning. Another slider, 1-2. Dodgers and Pirates just underway in LA. Clayton Kershaw versus Ivan Nova.
Like Jeff may have clipped Yadier Molina with that last backswing as he got into his hitting position. Everybody kind of stepped away from the pitch that time, including the home plate umpire. Get off me, ball. Wow, 95.
He averages close to 94. We've seen him touch 97, Flaherty. There's 96 down and away. It's 2-2. Greinke joking around with some fans down there. Another slider, another strikeout. That's 3 for Flaherty.
Oh, and pitcher throws you 95 inside off the plate. You've got to be a little bit quicker to get to that pitch. And then he comes back with that slider off the outside corner of the plate for strike 3. That's a deadly combination.
Well, we know Zach was a hitter in his last appearance against the Marlins in Miami. He's a 300 hitter this year. He's got 3 doubles and 4 RBIs, Zach Greinke.
4-game hit streak ties his career high set back in 2013 over the course. 5 out of 11. That's a .455 average.
Stay hot. He's saying, so that's the slider I've heard about. All right. Got another one and yanked it foul. Long run for Rocket Roger Rogowski, who has to come way in from his position as our Golden Glover in left field tonight. And of course, the veteran, Sid Doc Rosenblatt, working right field. Little tapper to third. Turco retires the hitter. 4 in a row set down by Flaherty. He leads it 2-1. Catch baseball's biggest stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital. It's the MLB All-Star Game. And it's coming up July 17th, only on Fox. You can also stream it live on the Fox Sports app. We start the third. Matt Carpenter leads it off against Zach Greinke. The Dodgers have opened up their game against Ivan Nova with back-to-back home runs, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Max Muncy is homered again.
Stop it.
Yes.
Come on.
It's already 2-0 LA. They're in the bottom of the first. Max Muncy, he's like this year's JD Martinez. There's one every night. Slow curveball misses. St. Louis opened up the second against Greinke with 3 consecutive hits and a sac fly to make a 1-0 D-backs lead, a 2-1 D-back deficit. The shift is on against Carpenter. Carpenter is a career .353 hitter against Zach Greinke, including a pair of homers. He singled against Greinke to lead off the ball game tonight. Rips that one foul. Gets this one pretty deep, right center field. John Jay at the wall, and he runs it down.
Tommy Pham struck out looking back in that first inning after the Matt Carpenter leadoff single. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch. Notice that Zach Greinke doesn't throw anything in the strike zone here. Around the edges, maybe that one at the bottom of the zone. His changeup right there kept the at bat going, and then drops that big curveball. The only pitch he threw in the middle of the strike zone the entire at bat was the last one. Our nationwide vision eye on the game.
So here's Pham again. Skies it behind first. Very shallow right. Jay coming in. 2 down in the third.
Right fielder Jose Martinez.
Look out, Jose Martinez. That sound that the old computers, the big desktop computer used to make when you turned it on. I always hear that sound when I see those shots of Zack Greinke on the mound. You know, the sound the computer would make. You can see him processing. Okay, that's how that guy reacted to that pitch. So here's what I'm going to do next. It's a process that is always ongoing when Greinke's on the mound. It's a chess match for him. Right now, buffering. Boy, he's trying to hit it to Mesa.
Yeah, he is. He always is. Yeah, that's an acquired skill for most major league pitchers, being able to read a hitter swing and try to determine what is he looking for, what kind of swing did he take at that pitch. And Zack Greinke reading swings and reading batters' minds, I think, sometimes.
Torrey has said he can see him from the dugout, even knowing what the scouting report is, sort of thinking, okay, this is what I'm supposed to throw this guy in this situation. Land in the hole. Nice bounce back third. A 1-2-3 inning for Zack Greinke. D-backs trail at 2-1. Week, then Chase Field with the D-backs. 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite D-backs are there and catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox. John Jay leads off the D-back third against rookie right-hander Jack Flaherty. D-backs took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. With 2 outs, Lamb singled, Pollock walked, and Peralta had an RBI single. But then the Cardinals answered with 2 in the top of the second. Munoz and Wong RBIs for St. Louis. Jay Singleton scored a run last night. Hopefully a good sign, because as of this moment he is stuck in a 1 for 32 skid, trying to get it going again. Well, there was a while there where you could not get John Jay out.
And it's really tough to put a finger on why a guy goes into and out of slumps like that. But for me, I think John Jay may be swinging at some pitches that he probably shouldn't be swinging at recently, trying to hit his way out of that slump.
And that's just like digging the hole deeper,
Yeah,
right?
You start chasing pitches. You know, you're so anxious to swing that bat and make something happen and get back on track, and you end up chasing borderline pitches or worse.
Full count, 3-2. Boy, it's just one slider after another. Really leaning on that slider. Nice grab by Flaherty. He's retired 5 in a row. Here's Goldie.
Well, the number 2 hitters in the respective lineups have had an interesting night. We showed you Tommy Pham earlier, only got 1 strike. Goldie gets 0 strikes in his first at bat of the game. Everything off the plate, either way inside or way outside. Goldie ends up chasing that slider down low and away. Tommy Pham saw 1 pitch in the strike zone, the final curveball that Zach struck him out looking on. Goldie didn't get any pitches in the strike zone.
I'll tell you what, it's not often you strike out Paul Goldschmidt without throwing him a strike.
Got that right, yeah.
Very unusual. Another slider. There's a strike. 0-1. That was the curveball. You saw the difference in not only the velocity, but kind of the shape of those 2 breaking balls. First the slider, then the curve. And there's that, as you mentioned, Bob, very occasional changeup from Flaherty. And he's ahead 1-2.
Yeah, he's had starts this year where he didn't throw any changeups. Of course, when you see that slider fastball combination against certain teams, you might not need anything else.
And then he struck him out with a fastball. Four strikeouts for Flaherty. He's got Goldie twice. 2 down for Lamb, who singled and scored in the first.
It's a weird game. It looked like Goldie, if he had 20 at bats in the ball game last night, he'd had 20 hits.
Yeah.
Tonight, struggling to make contact against the right-hander.
There's some weak contact up the first base line, right to Carpenter. And Flaherty has set down 7 straight. We're through 3. D-backs trail at 2-1. of July week. Now it's time for Lowe's whole team together. D-backs defense. This is where they rank among the National League leaders in certain categories. Fielding percentage #1.
Well, and you hope that is a constant with any team. You know, your pitching is going to have peaks and valleys. Your offense is going to slump from time to time, but you'd like to think that that defense shows up every day. The Diamondbacks have done an outstanding job this year in run prevention.
Marcell Ozuna hits a fly ball deep left center field. Peralta has room. And Greinke has retired 6 in a row. Here's Molina. Singled and scored in the second. Molina, the first week of May, suffered a terrible groin injury and missed a month. He was hit by a foul tip off a 102-mile-an-hour fastball from reliever Jordan Hicks and was quickly diagnosed with a traumatic pelvic hematoma and needed emergency surgery from a foul tip.
He missed a month and I missed 2 weeks just from watching it. Whoa.
It was really looked painful for him, and they had to rush him to the hospital. But he's bounced back clearly, having a very good year. Grounds out to Lamb. Jed Jerko doubled and scored in the Cardinals' second. 2 outs on 4 pitches for Greinke here in the fourth. Jerko looks like settling in as their everyday third baseman in St. Louis. This year he struggled a bit to hit consistently. Played all over the infield, but they've got Carpenter at first now as they move Martinez out to right, at least for the time being. That opens up third for Jerko. Mike Matheny moving some pieces around, trying to find somebody that can hit in right field. It's not been Dexter Fowler. He's missing this series on paternity leave. We've seen some youngsters like Tyler O'Neill and Harrison Bader. And they're going to hope that Martinez can play enough defense out there to hold down the fort for a while. So in the meantime, it's Jerko playing pretty much every day at third. 2-2.
They've got some defensive issues over in that first base dugout. They've made the most errors in the major leagues this year. That's hard to believe. Any Cardinals team would lead the majors in errors. The Diamondbacks, on the other hand, are tied for the fewest errors in the majors.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they don't play defense and they don't steal bases. Wait, what? There you go. 69 ahead of the field. Mike Matheny. Full count, 3-2 on Jed Jerko. Through the ethos up there, and Greinke issues his first walk tonight. That snaps a stretch of 7 straight retired, brings up Jairo Munoz. Well, Munoz has looked good in this series. Had a couple of hits last night, including an RBI double. Hit the ball hard into left back in the second inning for an RBI single. Remember when we were in Oakland, we told you the story of Stephen Piscotty, who was traded to his hometown Oakland A's to be near his mother, who was battling Lou Gehrig's disease and unfortunately passed away recently. But the Cardinals and A's were able to work out a trade to get Piscotty to the Bay Area, and Munoz was the guy St. Louis got in return from Oakland. Pretty good looking young infielder, only 23 years old.
And we said it at the time. I think that was a great move by both organizations. An obvious and personal need there for Stephen Piscotty, and I was glad to see that the teams were able to make that happen.
Yeah. First class moves by both the Cardinals and the A's front offices. Fastball misses in. Zach is behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Munoz had a good year last year in the A's minor league system, AA and AAA. Hit 300, belted 13 homers. He can run too. 22 stolen bases, fouled away, 2-2. Cardinals right now still without their starting shortstop, Paul DeYoung. He's got a broken bone in his left hand. So Munoz is in at short. Wong, the second baseman, on deck. DeYoung did play in a rehab game with AAA Memphis last night, so he's very close to coming back. Got him. Frankie Strands, the 2-out walk. D-backs trail it 2-1. Arizona Lottery from home, along with all of us here at the ballpark. You can win half the pot and help the kids in our community. Tickets can be purchased online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/50/50 raffle, and the winning number is revealed on the postgame show. Pot right now is over $11,000 here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and number 11 leads it off. A.J. Pollock walked his first time up.
Just a heads up for you fans, tomorrow full house here at Chase Field. That 50-50 is liable to be ginormous.
Sold out. That game sold out a few days ago, so get here early, fans. The gates are going to open up a little earlier than usual tomorrow for the 4th of July. Martinez in right. That's 8 straight set down by Flaherty. D-backs have not had a base runner since Peralta's RBI single in the first. And here he is. So David's now hit safely in 5 straight. 285 on the year. You mentioned, Bob, when David had that RBI single, he hit the ball so weakly he couldn't find it. Just a little sort of duck snort, as they say, into shallow left field for an RBI, but it worked out. D-backs had a 1-0 lead. Cardinals answered with 2 in the top of the second.
Yeah, occasionally you get that fastball up and in, and you're not sure whether you're going to hit the ball or the ball's going to hit you. And that time it hit David's bat down near the handle. He was looking toward right field. The ball went to left field, but he'll definitely take it, and the Diamondbacks will take that run. Head fake, look to right, hit the left.
Head on a swivel. Fastball away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ketel Marte will be next. Back in the starting lineup tonight. Got a high fastball. 5 strikeouts for the rookie Jack Flaherty.
Well, that's definitely one you need to lay off of Flaherty in the mid to upper 90s. If he elevates it up there above the letters, you've got to lay off of that one.
Bases clear, 2 down for Marte, who grounded out to end the first. Another strong shoe game from Ketel Marte as Flaherty drops a slow curve in there.
We expect nothing less.
Can't wait to see what he's going to bust out tomorrow.
Have sparklers attached to the back of him.
He might. Do you have those when you were a kid, the sparklers run out there in the fields of Coshocton once the sun set?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the highlight of our summer in Coshocton, the 4th of July. Had Little League games all day, men's softball at night. The king in his court would show up.
Oh, that's right. Eddie Feiner. Popped way up in the air. Wong is under it. Second baseman calls for it. And the rookie Flaherty has retired 10 straight. He's got a 2-1 lead. Giveaway here coming up. D-backs will host ASU and U of A nights here at Chase Field. You can get a custom ASU or U of A cap discount baseline reserve ticket for just $25 with a special event ticket pack. ASU night August 21, U of A night September 6, equal time. Visit dbacks.com/events.
Maybe we'll see DeAndre Ayton back out here for University of Arizona night.
He's, you know what, we played a long game the other day and he stayed for the entire game.
Yeah.
I thought that was really impressive.
Very impressed.
Threw out the first pitch in that ball game, Suns' #1 pick, and 3 hours and 45 minutes later, he was still watching the ball game, cheering on the D-backs. That was great to see. Suns are going to be fun to watch. They're working, from what I read, on that Devin Booker deal. You got Ayton in the fold. You may have to go check out LeBron when he and the Lakers come to town.
Oh, sure.
That'll be fun.
Always go rag on the Lakers. You almost have to.
Yes, it's legally obligated. Well, Greinke, remember when the Cardinals opened up that second inning with 3 straight base hits against him? Molina single, Jerko doubled, Munoz had an RBI single. He's not given up a base hit since. And here's the pitcher, Flaherty. Greinke has retired 9 of the last 10 he's faced. Didn't go, says Tony Randazzo. And the pitcher Flaherty's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Zach Greinke 60 pitches, 38 strikes. He has walked 1, struck out 3 so far. Here's the 3-1. We can see why Flaherty was so highly thought of just as an athlete. He hit a deep fly ball to right field his first time up. He's putting up a fight right here. And we can see that he fields his position very well. Good defender out there. That stays fair for Mathis. 2 down.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Well, Zach Greinke winless in 5 starts in May. Most of that was a near total lack of run support. D-backs scored 6 runs in Zach's last 4 starts in May, but June a very different story, as we mentioned earlier. 5-1 in 6 starts with a 2.97 ERA.
I mean, you brought up the word surgical, and I think that's a great way to describe Zach Greinke going about his business. When he's on top of his game, he just carves up opposing hitters.
Matt Carpenter, he just had the sense that he was toying with the Miami hitters. Carpenter's a guy that's had a lot of success against Greinke in his career. Tonight he has singled and flied out 1 for 2. Backhanded by Goldie. Greinke covers. And he works a 1-2-3 5th. D-backs trail it 2-1.
video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
D-backs on Fox. Nick Ahmed leads off the home half of the 5th inning against rookie Jack Flaherty. Nick struck out his first time up. D-backs got their run in the bottom of the 1st inning. A 2-out RBI single by David Peralta, and they have not had a base runner since. Flaherty has retired the last 10 batters he's faced. Nick can't check his swing. There's that slider again. 0-1. So that sort of look of resignation on Nick as soon as he offered it that pitch. No, that wasn't the fastball. That was the slider, and now it's too late. That was the fastball right down Main Street. 0-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Dodgers leading the Pirates 2-1 in LA. They're in the 3rd. The Rockies all over the Giants. Colorado leads San Francisco 8-1. 9th inning at Coors Field. Nick fights off another fastball. It stays 0-2. Nick 0 for 3 with a walk last night. That snapped a 5-game hit streak for him. Oh, he's getting a lot of fastballs here.
Yeah, after the slider to start the sequence, he's been getting a steady diet of heaters.
All right, I'm done.
Muncy hit another one.
Yeah. Max Muncy just hit another home run. It's 3-1 LA. What's the deal with that guy?
I don't know.
Max Muncy.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I was reading online somewhere today. I wish I could give credit where credit is due, but they were saying that Max Muncy is this year's Chris Taylor in LA.
He might be. Ahmed pokes one down the left field line. Good start for the D-backs in the 5th. The 16th double this year for Nick.
Boy, good to see a grinding at bat there after that ugly first swing to start the sequence. Fouled off some tough fastballs. Eventually gets a slider right in the middle of the plate and bangs it down into that left field corner. That was a good grinding at bat that time by Nick.
D-backs first hit since the bottom of the 1st. Here's the catcher Mathis, who struck out his first time up. Yeah, Taylor. Chris Taylor was a guy when he was in Seattle. He couldn't even keep a starting job. Dodgers got him, then he couldn't get him out. And this year, Max Muncy has become one of their biggest hitters. So LA now with a 3-1 lead. Game and a half behind the D-backs for the division lead. Fastball's a strike. 0-1. Well, D-backs got to take advantage here. Tying run in scoring position to start the inning. Mathis down 0-1. Greinke on deck. If I took Mac Muncy and beat the streak, which I don't ever take Dodgers and beat the streak, that's a rule. No Dodgers. We'd be up to 15-20 by now.
No, the reality is if we pick Mac Muncy, he'd be like 0 for his last 45.
The cooler.
Yeah, that's the effect we use.
Well, maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Sort of an experiment, a karma experiment. Cool him off a little bit. So meeting at the mound. Interesting time for that. You've got the number 8 hitter up there, the pitcher behind him, and you're ahead 0-2.
That is kind of an odd time for a visit.
Yeah. Fastball's in. But Bill Welke says strike 3, 6 strikeouts for Flaherty.
Yeah, he's expanded that zone east and west a few times tonight. This fastball, good location for a pitcher, but quite possibly not in the strike zone.
Cranky grounded out his first time. How about Zach Greinke with runners in scoring position this year? 4 for 9, but he's 4 for his last 4. Single right here can tie the ball game. Fastball misses low. Punches it to the right side. Colton Wong gets over there. Ahmed in at third, 2 outs. It's up to John Jay. Jay is grounded out twice. He's 0 for 2.
Diamondbacks as a team with runners in scoring position and 2 outs are hitting .223. John Jay 3 for 8. However, that's a .375 batting average.
Ooh.
He wasn't just going for 1 right there.
Fastball in. Saw that pitch coming. His eyes kind of lit up, looked like.
Yeah, you don't see John Jay take that kind of a home run uppercut swing very often, but it looked like he got the pitch he was looking for, just swung right through it.
Coming inside again. Missed his spot but got away with it at 0-2. Maybe they're trying to work Jay in so he can't go the other way like he so often does. Trying to get Ahmed home from third with 2 outs. Boy, there is a whole bunch of room in left center field right now for Jay. Sliders in the dirt. Ozuna is playing near the line in left. Pham couple steps over toward left center, but there's a lot of room out there. And that's where he likes to hit the ball.
Personally, I'd prefer the right center field gap. I mean, Tommy Pham's a pretty good defender in center. Marcell Ozuna the same in left. I want to challenge Jose Martinez out there in right field.
That is the way to go. There's no doubt about it. That one gets behind Molina. It hit Jay, and Ahmed's going to have to go back. Looked like it might be a wild pitch, but Bill Welke ruling and hit the batter. So that didn't go the Diamondbacks' way, but Goldie gets a chance now with runners in the corners.
Yeah, he very nearly got hit on a pitch earlier in the at bat. Watch that front foot come down, and that leg just stays right there. Oh, I got him on the back foot, perhaps. It looked like it missed the front knee, but maybe caught him on that left foot.
Well, Goldie has had a tough time with the rookie Flaherty so far. He struck him out twice. First and third, 2 outs. D-backs trail it 2-1. I
think this is a slow curve here to start the at bat.
Dropped it right in there. Give him a different look. Fastball right there. 0-2. All kinds of room. The entire right side of the infield is wide open. Wong, the second baseman, is almost right behind the bag. And Carpenter holding Jay on the base at first. Now a final at Colorado. Rockies beat the Giants 8-1. Dodgers have a 3-1 lead on the Pirates. They're in the fourth inning in LA. Here goes Jay. Pitches low. No throw from Molina. Now a single can give the D-backs the lead.
Yeah, John Jay didn't get a great jump that time. It was almost as if he was hoping to draw a throw to second base and try to sneak Nick Ahmed down that third baseline, steal a run, but Cardinals weren't biting.
Trying to get him to chase that slider again. 2-2. Jake Lamb hoping to get a chance. Fly ball, right field. Martinez backing up. It's gone. Well, you said, Bob, you wanted him to test right field, and he hit it over his head.
And that's a big, tall right fielder, and it didn't appear like that ball cleared the fence by much. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch. That first pitch curveball kind of knee buckled Goldie, then a couple of fastballs. That one fouled off down the right field line. Ball down low in the dirt with a slider, misses low and away with another slider, and then bites off a little too much strike zone.
Just enough. His 19th, and it's 4-2 D-backs. A jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Jake Lamb.
We talk all the time about executing pitches, and that time Flaherty threw a couple of sliders just off that outside corner and down. He came right back over the outside part of the plate trying to throw a strike, and Goldie was all over it.
Cardinals have the shift on against Lamb. 1-1. One thing about Flaherty, this is his 12th start. That's the 10th home run he's given up this year. Pollock on deck. Lamb is singled and grounded out, 1 for 2. He's ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. When you get a hit like that, you can just see everybody just exhales. You know, they've lost 4 in a row. The offense hasn't quite been clicking. They were down here 2-1. Now everybody can kind of just relax just a bit. The middle, but there's still somebody over there. Munoz, the shortstop, throws him out. Goldie, number 19, the other way for a 3-run homer and a 4-2 D-backs lead.
The sixth time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. We go back to, well, we will go back to 1977. On his 24th birthday, Frank Tanana tosses his 14th consecutive complete game with a 6-4 win over the Athletics.
And then spent the rest of his life in the hospital.
Pretty much, yeah. I think he only won 3 games the rest of the year.
Boy, he had a run there where he was one of the best. Greinke down with a 4-2 lead. Tommy Pham 0 for 2 leads off the St. Louis Six. Zach has retired 11 of the last 12 Cardinals he's faced. He's not given up a hit since Munoz's RBI single in the second.
Yeah, for Frank Tanana, after that complete game victory on his 24th birthday, that ran his record to 12-5. He finished the season at 15-9 due to, quote unquote, a tired arm.
Yeah. There's the slow curve that stays fair. The Gold Glover's on it and makes a nice play. That's how it's done.
Best in the business, picking up bunts, picking up little choppers like this around the infield. Boy, what a luxury. I mean, your corner infielders can play back because you know Zach Greinke's going to cover all that ground in front of you if somebody happens to top one like Tommy Pham did right there.
Here's Martinez 0 for 2. There was a while where Frank Tanana and Nolan Ryan were in that same Angels rotation, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole bunch of strikeouts.
Yes, it is.
Back in the days of the Big A, when the Big A was not out in the parking lot like it is now. Zach at 70 pitches, 45 for strikes. He has walked 1, struck out 3. Fastball right there. 1-2. Martinez coming off a big June. He hit .314 last month. Got to be careful here. 8 home runs in June. Zach starting to bust out that slider a little more often than we've seen in recent starts. It's not been as effective for him this year as it was last year when it was just a wipeout pitch for him at times. This year it's been more the changeup and the curveball. Base hit into center.
Kind of fun to watch that exchange there between Jeff Mathis and his pitcher. He went through everything Zach throws and he shook them all off to get back to that slider away. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good pitch. Stayed up and out over the plate. Martinez was able to bang it into center field, and as soon as he did, Zach Greinke looked back to home plate like to acknowledge Jeff Mathis, you were right, I was wrong.
Marcell Ozuna 0 for 2, but remember, he's got 6 lifetime hits against Greinke, and 3 of them are home runs. I think these two have worked wonderfully together, Greinke and Mathis. I mean, they're together all the time for a reason. They're 2 peas in a pod when it comes to game planning and tactics and figuring out how to attack different hitters. They have the same wiring that way.
And not to mention the fact that when Zach is not pitching and Jeff Mathis is not in the lineup, they're usually sitting side by side in the dugout talking about how are we going to attack this guy? How are we going to attack that guy?
I mean, Greinke, if you watch him in the clubhouse on days he's not pitching, it's like every 5th day he's taking the SATs. And he studies all week. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of preparation that goes into this. It's all homework. There's a tapper to third, stays fair. Lamb goes to second. They cut down Martinez.
He kind of runs around that ground ball to field it on his forehand side, makes that quick exchange and fires on just in time to get Martinez at second base. Nice play.
Big ovation for Yadier Molina. Molina singled and scored in the second. He's 1 for 2. Low curve got the call from Bill Welke. 0-1. Molina homered here last night. 12 home runs this year. 11 have come on the road. He's only homered once at Busch Stadium all year. Tried another slider. A ball and a strike. That's the fastball. You see Molina nodding his head. Yeah, that was a good one. 1-2. $80 pitches, 53 strikes. Down the line in right and slicing out of play.
Should be a pick to first.
Ozuna will run from time to time.
Now, most of these Cardinals, all you have to do is show that you're paying attention and they won't try to run. But if you ignore them over there, especially a guy like Yadier Molina, we've seen him do it in the past where he gets that lead and just keeps on going.
Now these moments, you know, mid to late in the ball game with Mathis and Greinke, it's almost like a negotiation. Each guy has a pitch he feels pretty good about, and they sort of figure out a middle ground somewhere. It's always interesting to watch.
Yeah, and they're probably not only talking about the 1-2 pitch, but if I happen to miss with it and go to 2-2, what are we going to throw next?
Well, let's see what they came up with on a ball and 2 strikes to Molina. Right to Lamb. Zach Greinke is through 6 with a 4-2 lead.
You got to we get free parking, we get free tickets, and you're going in the booth to meet Steve and Bob.
I'm so happy! I won! Yes!
Well, you do nothing but bring joy to D-backs fans all over the valley. That was 14-year-old Lainey Rendelman who won the D-backs Sanderson Ford Kidcaster Fox Sports Arizona contest, and she will be here Sunday. And apparently she's very excited to meet you.
I have that effect on a lot of women.
Yes, it's like a hard day's night almost. They're chasing you all around the block here.
Well, good for her. Looking forward to meeting her.
She is going to interview John Ryan Murphy.
Oh, nice.
Who does look a lot like Tom Cruise. So that was her, part of the Kidcaster, Fox Sports Arizona Sanderson Ford. You get to pick a player to interview, and John Ryan Murphy. Lainey will be doing that Sunday here at the ballpark, and I'm sure she's going to swing by and meet you. A.J. Pollock leads off the 6th. I like how apparently the dad said we get free parking. Like that was his first thing.
Dad priorities.
Exactly right. Sure.
That's funny.
I don't know how you get around, frankly, day to day here in your various activities. It's like chasing John, Paul, George, and Ringo down the street.
Well, it's been a hard day's night.
There you go. What a clean old man. David Peralta on deck. Sky to shallow center. Pham coming in. 1 out in the 6th.
Lainey's reaction is a lot what I get every day when I walk into the booth here. Everybody's so excited.
Get them out there. Yeah, it's always like that. Your staff, because they get here usually about 9-10 in the morning.
Yeah.
For a 6:40 start, so they're here working by the time you stroll in. But we may need to add a security detail to your staff. Well, Flaherty approaching 100 pitches, so the bullpen starts to get busy for the Cardinals. Tuivalala. Oh, that reminds me. I got somebody who may be even more excited than Lainey. to come to the ballpark tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, we got another letter here. I want to make sure I get this in today. And we encourage all of you to write us. Steve and Bob, Chase Field, 401 East Jefferson, Phoenix, 85004. And write us a letter with a stamp and an envelope, old school way, and we'll try and read it for you. Here's Colton Wong. Now we got a terrific letter from Doris Elkins in Mesa. Hi, Doris. And she says, watching Diamondbacks games is one of my favorite things. Her family lived in southern Illinois growing up, which of course is Cardinal territory. And she used to listen to the Cardinals and St. Louis Browns on the radio. Her mom loved the Cardinals for a long time. Her husband and she moved to Mesa back in '94. And Jim and her have followed the Diamondbacks from day one. But they're saying every game is special, and they're really looking forward to coming out tomorrow, because their favorite game is 4th of July at Chase Field. So there are going to be a whole bunch of them here. Diamondbacks and Cardinals to see their two teams, their old team and now their new team, the D-backs, and then they get the fireworks. So she wants to say thank you to all in the D-backs organization for the terrific job that everybody here does for July 4th. So thank you very much, Doris Elkins of Mesa, and we'll see you at the ballpark tomorrow night.
Doris is a very astute fan. As we know, there are no better fireworks in the Valley than what you will get right here at Chase Field tomorrow after the ball game. I'm going to stick around for them.
That is big. Swing and a miss. We're through 6. D-backs have a 4-2 lead. Friday, July 13th, new episode of D-backs Driven In debuts. We tag along with Jody Gonzo and Eric Burns. Don't miss this. D-backs Driven In, presented by Sanderson Ford. July 13th, the D-backs and Braves game right here on Fox Sports Arizona. And then the special follows. Remember, Jody, 10-2.
Use your blinkers.
Hand signals if necessary. Jed Jerko leads off the 7th against Zach Greinke. Zach has given up 2 runs on 5 hits. He's walked 1. And he's got 3 strikeouts. Jerko has doubled, scored a run, and walked. So he's been a problem in this series. A couple of hits last night, including a home run. There's that slider. We're starting to see more and more of that slider here from Zach. We got it to get Molina to line out to third to win the 6th. That was a good slider right there to Jerko. Fastball up. There is action in the D-back bullpen. Jorge De La Rosa starts to get loose. Greinke's spot is due up third in the home half of this inning. A little flare out to right center. AJ has got it. Let's go down to Jody.
Yeah, guys, just chiming in on Driven In with Luis Gonzalez and Eric Burns. I mean, I don't know if you guys realize how hectic it is shuttling Gonzo around. Numerous television appearances that day. Eric Burns was here calling the game that day. And meanwhile, they're talking about their days playing racquetball back in the day. I'm not sure if you were aware of that, Bob, but a lot of fun. So tune in. It was a lot of fun. But it was a little, you know, Gonzo. I told him it's a one-way ride, though. The last place I dropped him off, I said, I don't know who's going to pick you up, but.
Yeah, Gonzo needs a shuttle service. He has a lot of stops along the course of his day every day.
Well, Jody, I cannot imagine driving around in a car with Eric Burns in the back seat.
Just drive straight into a pole. Oh.
Well, Eric was actually in the front.
Oh, jeez.
And then once Gonzo left, Eric just I didn't get a lot in too many words in edgewise, but it was a lot of fun talking to those guys, reliving some old memories for them. And
did he stick his head out the window like a golden retriever?
You know what? I can see him doing that. He has the funky hair too, though, you know, guys. And he was talking about this crazy thing he's about to embark on at the end of July for charity. And he's going to swim in the Cove. He's going to swim and bike across the country. So a lot of good stuff in the show.
Well, he should have been training. Shouldn't have been riding around with you.
Should have been biking around town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Eric Burns, of course, Bob, you know this, a big proponent of the robot umpires, balls and strikes. He wants that computerized strike zone.
I'm with you, Eric. Sooner the better.
Tyro Munoz, 2-2.
Well, we talked about Zach Greinke incorporating more sliders into his repertoire tonight, but he's also still using that slow curve. He's thrown 17 of them in the ball game tonight, 12 for strikes.
Right now, 90 pitches, 60 strikes. Colton Wong on deck.
That has always been kind of his back pocket pitch, that if a guy has a lengthy at bat and he's fouling off the slider or fouling off that hard changeup, at some point he'll roll that curveball up there just to get him off of his primary pitches.
There it is right there. 63 on the eephus. And Munoz goes down swinging.
Well, we've talked about Zach a lot. It just depends on what he's feeling on a given night. Certainly they have an attack plan against the Cardinals offense, but some nights Zach will get out there to the mound and you can tell that he's really feeling that slider. Other games it's the changeup. Sometimes he's got the tremendous fastball command. And on some nights he has it all working, and that's when it's really fun to watch.
Colton Wong belts that one into center. A 2-out single. And now Greg Garcia will come up and hit for the pitcher Flaherty. That's just the second base hit Greinke has given up since the second inning. So here's Garcia. Mathis out to have a word. Zach trying to get his 21 outs. Mike Butcher will join in. Garcia, left-hand batter. He's one of the primary pinch hitters in the Cardinals ball club. 5 for 25 as a pinch hitter this year. So Wong at first, 2 outs here in the 7th. Garcia hits for the pitcher Flaherty. Another slider. Yoshi Hirano has joined Jorge De La Rosa in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. You've got the left-hand hitting Matt Carpenter on deck. So we'll see if this is Greinke's last hitter regardless. Garcia trying to bunt his way on. Lamb was well back, and he's got a base hit. Heads up play by Greg Garcia. And here comes Torey Lovullo. That is indeed it for Zack Greinke. You've got Carpenter coming up and the left-hander ready in the Diamondback bullpen. Greinke was brilliant tonight. Responsible though for 2 base runners. They'll leave in the 7th, leading 4-2. And pretty good here to start July. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing pool plays of the game.
Yeah, it was so unusual to see that second inning when the Cardinals made some solid contact and scored their 2 runs against him. But man, the rest of the night he had these Cardinals off balance, either way behind fastballs, way out in front of off-speed pitches. His defense made some nice plays behind him and dropped a 63-mile-an-hour eephus curveball in there for a strike 3.
Now Greinke following the Munoz RBI single in the 2nd, retired 12 of the next 13. But he's responsible for Wong at 2nd, Garcia at 1st. The left-hander Jorge De La Rosa on from the bullpen to face Matt Carpenter, who is 1 for 3 tonight.
And this has been an advantage De La Rosa in this matchup. Matt Carpenter 0 for 12 lifetime against Jorge De La Rosa.
That tells you why it's not Chafin here. Instead it's Jorge De La Rosa. They like the matchup, and for good reason. Carpenter has not hit much against left-hand pitching. Now he did have a double to lead things off last night against Robbie Ray, but he's under 170 versus lefties as a whole this year. Does have 4 homers though against left-handers. D-backs have the shift on. De La Rosa's behind, 2 balls and no strikes. You've got Tommy Pham on deck. That's where Carpenter likes to go. That's why the defenders are over there. Got some big right-hand hitters coming up behind Carpenter, and Hirano ready in the bullpen. Should Carpenter reach? Three balls and no strikes. Pham 0 for 3 tonight. Wong the runner at 2nd. Garcia is the tying run at 1st. He walked him. So De La Rosa can't get his man. Now the bases are full of Cardinals. And Tommy Pham is the hitter. Hirano is ready in the bullpen. Here comes Torey Lovullo.
This Cardinals team is very right-handed heavy. Only 3 left-handed batters on the entire roster. Matt Carpenter, Colton Wong, and we've seen Greg Garcia take the pinch-hitted bat in this inning. Everybody else bats from the right side.
Back after this, Yoshi on his way in. One that is still ongoing. Torey Lovullo and the plate umpire, crew chief Bill Welke. And things didn't get heated or anything, but each guy was clearly trying to make a point about something.
It's kind of a way to develop a rapport and a relationship with some of these umpires perhaps that Torey is not real familiar with. You come out and ask a point of rule or point of protocol in the game when you might know the answer already, but just to go out and have a conversation with an umpire.
Well, Yoshi Hirano is thrown right into the deep end of the pool here. Bases full of Cardinals and 2 outs. Yoshi, a 25-game scoreless streak. That's a new D-backs record and the longest active scoreless streak in baseball. He's facing Tommy Pham with the bases full and 2 outs.
He's stranded 92% of the inherited base runners this year. That would be ideal right now.
Pham tonight 0 for 3. Bounce to third. Short hop by Lamb. 1 pitch and Yoshi gets us out of the mess. We stretch a chase. It's 4-2 D-backs. Hirano. What a job. One pitch and the jam is done. The series will be done tomorrow. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. 4th of July here at the ballpark. It is a sellout. Get here early. Gates are going to open about 5 o'clock. Patrick Corbin on the mound against Miles Michaelis. Another impressive young Cardinal pitcher. More on Torey Lovullo and Bill Welke. Let's go down to Jody.
Well, you're right. It looked like Kelvin Kondo, the interpreter who always runs out on the mound with Yoshi Hirano. It appeared Bill Welke ran him off the mound, and that hasn't happened, at least not to my knowledge, so far this season. And Torey went over and talked to Welke and then went over to Kelvin and seemed to explain something to him. So we'll follow up and see exactly what was going on, guys, with that.
Yeah, there is a specific rule about that, and because the interpreters become so common now, I think there is language in there in the rule book about when they can actually be on and off physically on the mound. As Ahmed grounds out to lead off the bottom of the 7th. New pitcher for the Cardinals is the right-hander Sam Tuivailala. His 25th appearance of the year.
You know, it's odd because we haven't had any issue with it up to this point of the season, and he's escorted him out to the mound every time he's pitched.
Well, some guys just might be more bigger sticklers than others. Jeff Mathis has struck out twice. This is one of those games that is shaping up bullpen wise the way Torey Lovullo likes it. Yoshi, Archie, Boxberger. Archie starting to get cranked up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Cardinals will have Martinez, Ozuna, Molina due up 3, 4, and 5 in the 8th inning. Fastball up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitcher spot is up next. There's Daniel Descalso in the on-deck circle. He will hit for Hirano, with Bradley warming up in the bullpen. That's a hard slider at 90 miles an hour from Tuivailala.
Good name, Sam Tuivailala.
That's what you can say that to your granddaughters.
Yeah,
they probably love it.
She's having a little trouble with her L's right now.
Well, it's
not quite there yet.
Work in progress. So am I, frankly. There's a fastball at 97, and Mathis has worked at full 3 and 2. Dodgers lead Pittsburgh 5-2. They're in the 6th inning in LA. Rockies beat up on the Giants at Coors Field. Colorado 8-1 winners. On the ground to Colton Wong at second, 2 outs.
Hey, fans, receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casinos.
Descalso will hit for Hirano. Daniel at 250 and 9 homers. He was 0 for 2 with a walk in last night's game. Got the start at second base. Descalso, one of the better pinch hitters in the National League. They're still playing in Miami according to our scoreboard. The Rays and Marlins tied up 4-4 in the 15th at Marlins Park.
The battle for the Sunshine State.
So there's a 4.5 hours in. There's probably a huge crowd still there. Curveball missed, and it's 3-0 on Descalso. And they're still going. Marlins Park.
Was this camp day again? Every day should be camp day in Miami.
If it is, they're all asleep by now. Here's your 3-0 strike. Yeah, we had about 6,000 a night for 3 games in Marlins Park. Then camp day that Thursday afternoon, we're up to 12,000. Oh, yes, he went, says Andy Fletcher, and it's full 3-2.
Yep. Tough to stop that barrel. Once you get past that that certain spot in your swing, it's almost impossible to stop the barrel of the bat.
Uivalala works a 1-2-3 7th. Archie Bradley on his way in. D-backs lead the Cardinals 4-2. Don't forget, if you can't watch the D-backs on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Here's the numbers on Archie Bradley. He is going to face Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, Yadier Molina, 3, 4, and 5 in the St. Louis 8th.
Yeah, teams around baseball celebrating the 4th of July holiday with you see the stars and the stripes and the stripes on the socks. He looks a little like Waldo out there wearing stripes on both legs.
The Bozo the Clown shoes don't help either. Those are some sweet kicks. Martinez singled his last time up against Zach Greinke. 1 for 3. Fastball in there, 0-1.
It looked like Martinez was looking back to his own dugout and shook his head no. Somebody probably told him go up there and sit on a curveball, and Archie throws him 2 fastballs right down the middle of the plate to jump ahead 0-2.
There's the curveball, lays off.
We talk a lot about reading swings, especially in reference to Zach Greinke and Jeff Mathis, the ability to watch a hitter and try to discern what pitch it is he's looking for. Well, the same thing can be said if a guy takes pitches. If you take fastballs right down the middle of the plate, that's a pretty good indication that maybe you're sitting on an off-speed pitch.
Laid off a fastball that time, and it's 2-2. Archie's not thrown that curveball a whole bunch lately. It's been mostly the fastball. Here's another one at 97. Curveball lately has been kind of just a show me pitch. Ozuna on deck. Molina behind him. Got him.
Just one curveball in the sequence, and that last fastball is probably not in the strike zone, but too close for Martinez to take. A feeble swing right there for strike 3.
Marcell Ozuna 0 for 3, 0 for 7 in the series. That was Martinez's curveball. Doubled up with it that time, a ball and a strike. Morano got an enormous out to end the 7th. Bases loaded. Now Bradley on to start the 8th. D-backs bullpen. 7th inning. Well, not all the bullpen, mostly though. D-backs pitching 7th inning and later this year. A 2.70 ERA. That is the best in the major leagues. And Archie Bradley's been an enormous part of that. There it is.
Now we saw some curveballs that sequence from Archie. Dropped that first one in there for a called strike. He misses with the second one, and then a couple of fastballs, one at the top of the zone, one off the plate low and away, and then a fastball down and in. Wow.
Well, this is a big out to get. Yadier Molina 1 for 3. Singleton scored in the second. There's a strike 0-1. Archie's not messing around. Can he strike out the side? Rockies have won. Dodgers are winning. D-backs trying to snap a 4-game skid. There's the curveball. Couldn't keep it fair. Archie, when he's out there, works at an enormously high energy level. Bounced a curveball up there.
Now with the 4th of July hat, you can see Archie has sweat right through the hat already.
It's the reason Torrey doesn't like to have Archie end an inning and then bring him back out to start the next one. Once he gets up there, you want to kind of leave him there. Out to right field, John Jay. They bring in the beard. It stays 4-2 D-backs.
pitch-by-pitch sequence of that Paul Goldschmidt home run, right?
Oh my goodness, it went from survival to victory. I mean, that was one of the best at bats I've ever seen on Paul Goldschmidt, and trust me, we've seen a lot of them.
You have indeed. So
wow.
We will do that and more when this game ends. But Steve and Bob, bring it home. D-backs Live coming up right when this one ends.
Yeah, well put, Gracie. That was Goldie in the 5th, the 2-out, 2-strike, 3-run homer. That is the difference in the ball game so far. He's due up second here in the bottom of the 8th inning. John Jay leads it off. Jay was hit by a pitch, stole a base, and scored on the Goldie homer. His last time up in that 5th inning. D-backs still with only 4 hits. They've been out hit 7-4, but they lead it 4-2. That's what 3-run homers will do for you. That was the old, was it Earl Weaver pitching defense and 3-run homers?
Indeed, it was Earl Weaver.
We've had all of that here tonight. Tuivalala back out there after a 1-2-3-7. There is action in the Cardinal bullpen. Brad Boxberger starts to get it cranked up in the D-back bullpen. Bullpen coach Mike Fetters going over the game plan down there. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Cardinals in the 9th will have Jerko, Munoz, and Wong due up 6, 7, and 8. Pitcher spot after that. Austin Gomber, the left-hander, starting to get loose for St. Louis. Jay slices one the other way. Ozuna's there. Here's Goldie, as Gracie said. What an at-bat in the 5th.
Well, I mean, that's a pitch that very few hitters can get to, let alone barrel it up to the opposite field.
After Flaherty had struck out Goldie in his first 2 at-bats tonight. That made that even more impressive. There's a fastball at the knees at 97, 0-1. What? Huh?
Every night.
All right, we'll take it.
I mean, that wasn't even on the corner.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's all right. Neither was that. Now it's 2 balls and a strike. That's one of those moments you look around the ballpark and wait, did everybody see that?
Did that just happen?
Yeah, what? Two and 2. Jake Lamb on deck. Jake singled and scored the first run back in the 1st inning on a Peralta RBI single with 2 outs. Cardinals answered with 2 in the 2nd. D-backs 3 in the 5th on the Goldie homer. Fouled straight back at 96. Curveball and dunks it into right center. Goldie's already got 6 hits in the series. Here's Lamb, 1 for 3.
And Goldie's done a great job tonight battling that breaking ball. Hit one out of here for a 3-run homer, and that one a soft single into center field.
Saw earlier Mike Matheny had the lefty Gomber ready to go. He'll bring him in. We'll take a break. 20th anniversary team will be announced, and the 20th anniversary celebration is set here at Chase Field for Saturday, August 4th. First 20,000 fans in the ballpark with us will take home the 20th anniversary team tee, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Visit dbacks.com/20. Left-hand pitcher Austin Gomber on to face the left-hand batter Jake Lamb. Gomber made his major league debut June 2nd, and ever since then he's been used more than any other Cardinal reliever. Throws hard from the left side, misses at 95. Jake singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. Cardinals have the shift on. There's the numbers to support that.
I like that pie chart because almost every time we've shown it, the defenders are right where the ball is hit most often. There's a reason. We say it all the time. There's a reason you play these exaggerated shifts, and that's where the ball is usually hit on the ground when Jake Lamb makes contact and puts the ball on the ground.
He takes it the other way. Ozuna backing up. It's gone. A fan reached over. Third base umpire Andy Fletcher is signaling home run. But did the fan interfere? We'll have to find out. For the moment, it's a Jake Lamb homer and a 6-2 lead. Umpires will huddle up.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I think this one's going to come back. That over-aggressive fan right there reaches clearly down over the yellow line, makes contact with the baseball.
And it looks like they will put the headsets on just to make sure.
It looked like the umpires initially got together to say, did anybody get a really good look at that one? And apparently none of the 4 umpires really had a definitive look at whether the fan interfered or not. So it's a boundary call. Why not take a look?
Yeah, this is a crew chief review. It is not a challenge. The umpires will do this just to be absolutely certain. And a pretty definitive video right there. I just showed it on the board here.
Well, homer or not, what a great approach by Jake Lamb against a left-handed pitcher. We've been talking about Jake, and his at-bats have been better, even though the numbers might not indicate that he's hitting lefties better this year. That was a good pass at that ball right there.
That left center approach has worked so often for Jake. Torrey getting some more time in with the umpires here while they take a look at this in New York.
And the second part of this crew chief review is where do you place Goldie if it is a double? If indeed it is fan interference, do the umpires think that Paul Goldschmidt would have scored from second base? Fan interference?
And they're going to give him a double and put him at second and third. Well, that's clearly the correct call. The fan's entire arm was over the fence. And so Jake will get a double. Goldie is put at third, and it stays 4-2. So it's second and third, 1 out. This is where Goldie was when the fan hit the ball. Still basically standing on the second base bag. A chance for AJ. Second and third, 1 out. Molina will take a mound visit now. And that's one thing you have to remember if you want to get yourself involved in the game. It's going to be a short night. Pitching coach Mike Maddox to the mound now after that I wonder if this counts as the same visit.
I think it does. Yadier Molina was about to walk off the dirt part of the mound back toward home plate when he saw Mike Maddox come out of that first base dugout and stopped on a dime before walking off the mound dirt.
Yeah, there was only 10 seconds left on the visit clock when Maddox got to the mound, and now they'll have to come and break it up. Here comes Bill Welke.
And yes, that is the older brother of Greg Maddox.
The better looking one, if you ask him.
That's what Mike says, yeah.
Sure. So a chance for AJ now. Still looking for his first base hit. They're going to, in fact, give him the free pass with first base open. You've got a lefty on the mound, so they'll work to Peralta with the bases full. Here's David, who had an RBI single in the first. 1 for 3. Bases full, 1 out. Now a fastball in, fouled it off. David this year, .225 versus lefties, including 3 home runs. He's got Goldie at third, Lamb at second, and Pollock at first. Curveball's in the dirt. Peralta's ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. David, couple of hits last night. He tripled, had an RBI. Another RBI single tonight. He's hit safely in 5 straight. Fastball is low, and it's 3-1. Ketel Marte on deck. Up the middle, right at the shortstop Munoz, and they turn the double play. It stays 4-2. Steven Souza Jr. hits it over the R for Tacoma Rainiers. That is a launch. A home run for Souza tonight as part of his rehab assignment with Reno, playing the outfield again tonight for the second night in a row.
Not sure if they have StatCast there in Tacoma, but the estimated distance on that homer was far.
We can confirm that, actually. Ninth inning. And here's the closer, Brad Boxberger. 19 for 23 to save opportunities. Jed Jerko, Jairo Munoz, Colton Wong due up for the Cardinals. 6, 7, and 8 in the St. Louis ninth. D-backs have been out hit tonight 7-6, but they lead it 4-2. Jerko's had a good series. A couple of hits last night, including a home run. Tonight he has doubled, walked, and scored. And he leads off the ninth. Boxberger, fastball, changeup, always working right around the edges of the strike zone. There's the change. He's ahead 0-2. Got that fastball in on the hands. Jerko fights it off. Didn't bite on the changeup, and it's 1-2. Rockies have beaten the Giants 8-1. Dodgers lead the Pirates 8-3. They're in the 7th in LA. Their changeup yanked foul. Jerko has done almost all his damage this year against left-hand pitchers. Boxberger's the right-hander ahead 1-2. Along the line, Jay hustling over there.
In his short time here, John Jay has had as many of those plays as anybody in the National League. That little slicing foul ball over near the bleachers. We saw it happen a couple times on the road trip.
He's going in hard to some of those fences from time to time. And a tremendous play on one of them in Miami. Just foul at third. Jerko putting up a fight. Pitch number 8 on the way. We are now in the, speaking of Miami, in the 16th inning, where the Rays have taken a 9-4 lead over the Marlins. Bottom 16 at Marlins Park. There's Ketel Marte.
Fortunately, sounded like Jerko hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. Didn't carry quite as far as he was hoping for. And Ketel Marte got some ups out there at second base. Nice play.
Here's Munoz, an RBI single in the second. 1 for 3 tonight. Talked about how good the D-backs pitching staff has been 7th inning and later. Hirano got his man with the bases loaded. And Archie Bradley a 1-2 3/8. Now Boxberger in the 9th. Fastball's in for a strike, 1-1. locating that fastball well. 1-2.
That location of his pitches is probably more important to Brad Boxberger than anybody else coming out of that Diamondbacks bullpen, because he is just a two-pitch guy, and his fastball is 90, 91, 92 on occasion.
Swing and a miss. That's the changeup. Munoz slams his bat as he strikes out for the third time tonight. And Boxberger's 1 out away.
Boy, no shame in punching out here against Brad Boxberger. Look at the location of these pitches. Off the plate, down and in. Pushes him off the plate with a strike up and in. Working away at the outside corner. Comes back with a changeup inside. Nothing in the middle of the plate.
They're on their feet here at Chase. Colton Wong. Wong drove in a run with a sac fly in the second. He singled his last time up. Trying to snap that 4-game losing skid. Tyler O'Neill, who got the start in right field last night, is out in the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher. Fastball low and away. Bill Welke says strike one. Two and two. Full count, 3-2. That caught a fair amount of the strike zone there. Pretty good pitch by Brad. Here it is on 3-2. Cardinals will get the tying run to the plate. And here comes the rookie O'Neill, who has been putting on a home run display in the Coast League at AAA Memphis. He singled and scored a run last night.
Pinch hitting, number 41, Tyler O'Neill.
O'Neill recalled from the minors for this series with Dexter Fowler on paternity leave. He had hit 4 home runs in 5 games when he was called up the other day. One and one. Tyler O'Neill over 300 at AAA Memphis. 19 homers, second in the Coast League in home runs. Change-ups in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Two and two. Mathis couldn't quite hang on.
Hit both the catcher and the umpire in the mask after glancing off the glove of Jeff Mathis that time.
Out of play. Well, this is why those final 3 outs are so much different than the other. The closer is the only guy who goes out there without a net. Boxberger a strike away. Another fastball.
You do have another pitch to play with here before running the count to full. You could throw that changeup down low and hope to get a chase strike here from O'Neill.
2-2. Got him. And the D-backs win it 4-2. They had lost 4 straight. They'd lost 6 in a row at home. Kiss that goodbye back in the win column.
Well, we go back to our key to the game. That's why you're here, Zach Greinke. You're the ace of this staff. Part of your job with this team this year is to stop losing streaks, and Zach did that tonight.
He sure did. We'll take a break. Back with much more from Chase Field up next. It's D-backs Live, the postgame show. Gracie standing by with Todd. D-backs win it 4-2. Back after this.